Well, hello there. Welcome to a video I'm making about introduction to ink wash. Ink wash is a really exciting and fun medium. It's very spontaneous. It's very much like watercolor except in black and white. And I think you're going to enjoy it. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just take a piece of the Bristol paper. So you're going to need this. You're going to take your tray. I know you guys have circular white ones. But I'm going to be using this clear plastic one, maybe a couple of them. It's just kind of easier for me to show you what I'm doing. I have an assortment of brushes. So whatever brushes you guys have, I know you got some for the class, assortment of watercolor brushes. I have some here. But the main guy, the main weapon is the bamboo bristle hair brush. I'm using that one mostly. This is so versatile. It can do a lot in a little bit of time, but it can also do a lot of details and textures too. So if you were stranded in an island with one brush to do ink wash, you'd want to have one like this. Believe me, it's great. And then of course you're going to need your ink, your India ink bottle. Hopefully you have one with a dropper built in. If not, there's ways around it. Maybe you have an eyedropper that you can use. It's good to have a roll of paper towel. I got this one from school, but any paper towel or rags are good to have handy. And lastly, water itself. This video is sponsored by Aquafina. Not really, but it'd be cool if it was. So I'm dressed up like a real artiste, wearing my beret and a turtleneck sweater, just for fun. But okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started on the actual paper. So consider this piece of paper as just a kind of a sacrificial piece of paper. You don't need this. This is my camera control. I'll get that out of the way a little bit. So I'm just gonna, the rest of the video is gonna be presented with this. You can see I also have newsprint down. If you have any scrap newsprint, any extra paper, it's good to have something handy to blot with. That's why the paper towel is nice. I'm gonna go ahead and tear off a few pieces of this. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you're gonna need to do is pour some water into your tray. You can also use an ice cube tray. I use this mainly. It's just hard for me to kind of show you what I'm doing because it's so dark. But ice cube trays work great, as well as that circular kind of white watercolor tray you have in your kit. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of water into a few of these compartments here. You don't need a lot of water. You can always add more water. That's the beautiful thing about it. Make sure though you do have a pretty filled bottle in case you need it. It's good to leave one tray. I have another set here. It's good to leave a couple of trays just completely empty. It's good also just to have a couple of trays that are just designated as pure water to you. So I'm a lefty, but I'll have my pure water on the right side. Okay, let's go ahead, get our ink out, which is right here. You might want to shake it. You might want to kind of squeeze the kind of the knob in the middle here to make sure you're extracting ink. And let's go ahead and just squirt a little bit of ink kind of into one of these compartments. Maybe squirt a lot into one, less into the others. You want to create different sets of values. So you create your own values just by how little or how much ink, how much water you have. If you feel like your ink is a little too dark, you can always add water to lighten it. Do a little bit there. All right, so and over here, I might just have one. I'm just going to make just pure black. Okay, it's good to have just black handy. You can always add more, of course. This bottle of ink should get you pretty far. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my brush and just load it up with just pure plain water. And I'm just going to go ahead and just do a water wash over here. Another reason why you want to have some trays filled with water is so you can rinse your brush off. If you don't have an extra tray, maybe you just have a couple of plastic cups that you can use this for. Just for the rinsing off part at least. All right, so I'm just kind of splashing water here. And then I'm going to take some of my ink over here. I'm just going to apply it inside of that water. And so what the water does, it gives you that kind of one of the things unique to ink wash watercolors is the bleeding effect. So the ink kind of just goes to where the limits of the water is on the page. I'll also say you probably want to tear off a sheet as you go. If you do this in your pad on top of another sheet, it's going to bleed through and get your bottom sheet is going to get covered. So tear off the sheet, do it one sheet at a time. Now I'm putting in just pure black inside that area, and you can see like just how incredibly rich and dark it gets. But like, what if I say like, shoot, that's too black, I didn't want to go that black. I'm going to go ahead and go back to this just pure water tray here and kind of douse it. Now this, like I said, this drawing here, we're just having fun with it. Now you might want to go ahead and like rinse it off a little bit, the brush that is, maybe wipe it off with some paper towel. You're going to make a mess doing this, so I really hope you guys have an area that you isn't too precious to you, an area that you can have fun. Perhaps it's in the basement, in the garage, bedroom, kitchen. Just clean up after yourselves. I don't want people's roommates or parents or whatever getting mad at me for being a bad influence. I don't think I am a bad influence, but I have been accused of it once in a while. Okay, so we're just having some fun here. I just really want you to get a feel for this. So this is the bleed part. Another fun thing to do with the bleeds before I move on to another technique is, so there's some really nice kind of bleed action there. Hopefully you can see that. But you can also have some fun with gravity. Let's see, let gravity, come on. Let gravity kind of take over a little bit in places. And you can always go back and just do that water wash area. So ink wash isn't different than any other medium. You can always make things darker. It's hard to make them lighter. You can't really erase with ink wash. However, you can go over pencil, light pencil drawings of ink wash beautifully. So here's kind of just a few techniques. The next technique I want to mention is just called dry brush. And that's basically where you just take a brush, get a little bit of ink on it. It can be black, it can be medium, it can be any colors. And you're going to take your brush and just start to kind of blot on it. If you wanted to, you can blot it on the paper towel first, and this will kind of make the dry brush go easier from the beginning. But you can see what happens here is you start to get these textures, lines of the brush. A lot of ink wash artists and watercolor artists really love this aspect of the technique, dry brushing. I'm going to load up a video, not a video, but a PowerPoint in the Blackboard called The History of Ink Wash, History and Examples. That'll be up there real soon, along with the assignment. I want you to do this, though, as the assignment. You could also cut a piece of paper, one sheet of paper, into smaller pieces. Try different things with it. You can try doing a value chart, but then you can go over this dry brush with another ink wash. So you can see these beautiful light grays kind of happening throughout. You know, there's lots of videos, lots of books you can read about different media techniques. I would also say hold the brush, kind of like I've taught you really since the beginning. Just hold it kind of lightly between your forefinger, your middle finger, your thumb. Try to use your shoulder, not your wrist, for this medium. This is a medium that if you try to control it too much, you're really going to struggle with it, not enjoy it. It's going to do what it wants to do in certain aspects. You got to let it be its own thing. Again, you can use different size brushes. Maybe I'll use a smaller one here. But I really want you to basically start off with the bamboo handle one, because I feel like if you get comfortable with that one, you're going to be better at all the other ones. It might not seem like a medium that you can do a lot of detail with. There's some beautiful bleeds. But that's not true. You can do anything you want with it if you're willing to practice it and take your time. But the best way to learn a medium is just jump into it. Make a splash. ink wash, make a splash. So that's just kind of an example of what I wanted to show you. There's other examples here. I did this one, let's see, did this one last night. So, you know, just make pages of it. One thing I really want you to try doing though is layering, you know, one value over the other, a darker value over a light value. If the ink is still wet, you can kind of work into it a little bit. But we're always talking about layering values, and ink wash is going to be your best friend for that. Nothing really does it quite as well as ink wash. That's looking pretty cool there. Again, hold the brush loosely. Have some fun. You can splatter it if you don't mind making a bit of a mess. Again, get some scrap newsprint or whatever you got paper-wise. You can put newspapers. That would be a great choice, just newspaper. Give yourself a work area where you can make a mess and not have to do too much cleanup. Okay, so that's kind of it for now. I want you to make a mess on one sheet of paper and have some fun with it. If you want to do more than one, that's fine too. Like I said, you could practice doing a value scale from light to dark. It might be fun to try making a line that goes from light to dark. So I'm just going to lay down a light gray first. Then maybe I'll put a little bit of a darker gray. Let me see where we're at. Yeah, there we go. So there's a darker gray there. Maybe go darker still. Maybe I'll touch some of this guy here. It's a big kind of jump in value. I can knock that down a little bit. So doing something like that, you're practicing kind of different steps and values. It's not the smoothest transition, but it's good practice, and that's what this is about. And then I'll go kind of dark here. So, all right, guys. I don't want to make this too long because I want you to get into it and enjoy working with the medium. That's all for now. I'll check back in with you and take a picture of this drawing. You're going to upload it into Blackboard under the assignment. You can also, if you have trouble with that, you can just email it to me. You just make sure you email it to me saying ink wash practice 1 or something like that with your name first. So Smith ink wash practice 1. All right, that's it for now. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Miss you guys. Look forward to seeing what you guys make. I love this medium, and I think it's a great medium for figure drawing or any type of drawing because it's going to loosen you up and kind of open up new avenues. Some people will really take to this, but if you don't give it a shot, you'll never find out. So give it a shot. Thanks a lot.